or you say something in the moment, it's just like a witty answer or something like that. It's about 1,000 times more effective than, saying someone else's line that you heard on the internet that, might be working for them. So the problem that I think a lot of guys are running into is they take some technique that I have and they just say the line and they go, oh, well, I tried the line and it didn't work. But really, if you don't have the inner game behind that, it's not going to work.
Yeah, I mean, the difference is that you see in quite, in the weekly vocal call, is that you have guys who come on, they're obviously not very confident, they're obviously a bit weaker in the sort of whole confidence scale, and you see them saying, oh, I'm going to go try that line, oh, Patrick, that's hilarious, and you just think, it's not going to work for them for the sole fact they're not you. You've got that sort of whole attitude where you don't give a fuck, how you've believed about things. They haven't got that mentality, the reference points, they haven't built up that kind of level of, I suppose, where you're,
you call it an indifference or carefreeness.
That's for the best words for it. I mean, part of my site, it's helping guys develop themselves. Obviously, women's going to be the secondary benefit of it. Do you get into the whole alpha male persona? Do you believe such a thing exists? And if so, why do you think people are so tempted to stay towards a beta, hide in the shadows? Why don't everybody improve? Why doesn't everybody go to the gym, go out, get better with women? Why is this laziness, where guys just want to hide and talk about it rather than actually doing it?
That's a good question. I think that, well, I do believe in, that alpha male type persona. And, one of the reasons, I do things the way I do, which is, not pursuing after women and not really giving a shit, is because I modeled my whole, attitude and mindset off of people who were alpha males. So I think if you ask anyone, put yourself in the shoes of, somebody like Justin Timberlake or, like a famous like rapper or something like that. Do you think those guys are, going up to women and saying like, hey, like, I just thought you're so beautiful. I got to get your number and I got to get to know you. Like they don't do that. They're laid back and the women come to them. And they don't give a shit because there's such an abundance of women in their life. And those guys, to me, have that alpha male persona. And the alpha male, like, looking at it from, like a biology / evolutionary standpoint, is the guy who's like really at the top and all the women want. And he's not the guy doing all the work. He's the king, right? The betas are the guys, doing all the work. And they're the ones who, have to, convince women that they're, all that they say they are and everything like that. So the, guys sticking to that beta persona, a big part of it is just our social programming. And we're kind of, taught to believe that, having all the money and, having the looks and everything else is really what it's about. And that's the programming that I think the beta male is kind of under, where they think that, they have to court women and that they think they have to, do all these things that, to convince women that they are an alpha, but it's really it's really not at all about that.
Yeah, I mean, the second you've got to convince somebody of anything, you've already failed. I mean, one of the whole things about the alpha male is that you generally don't care how somebody else perceives you. You're that focused on your own goals, what you want out of life, and what you're doing, that you can give basically a rat's ass if somebody disliked you, if a girl turns you down, because sooner or later, next girl, she's going to be interested. Next girl, next girl, next
Yeah.
girl. Something you're very used to if the stories I hear from Brent are true.
Well, yeah, it comes down to social status. And beta males don't perceive themselves as high status. So they perceive the women as high status. And that's kind of the big illusion that a lot of these guys are living under. And it's like, I mean, you look around at, media and our culture, and these guys put women way up on the pedestal, and they think that they have to be, chasing after the women, that the women have all the status and the power, and they just want a piece of that. Whereas the alpha male really understands that he is high status, that he's valuable, that he's the prize, and that women understand that, so he doesn't have to do anything. So he's the suitor. He's the one who, is it the suitor or the selector? I don't know. But he's the one who's making the call.
Yeah, he picks and decides out of... Yeah, it's like the lion picks the lionesses.
Right.
They come to him wanting it.
Right, exactly. And they used to think I was reading, this research that for the longest time, scientists had assumed that it was the male in the species who was the one, the lion goes out and gets what he wants. He sees the woman he wants and he goes and takes it or whatever. But they were talking about this one study, this is, back in the 50s or something like that, where they had noticed that, all the men scientists were under this, impression that it was the guy doing all this stuff. And actually one of the women scientists was like, actually, it's the woman who is initiating all the seduction if you look a little bit closer. So we think that, that we, as guys, we have to go out there and, we have to approach a woman and, start the conversation and all this stuff. But really women are giving us very subtle signals or, even not so subtle signals all the time. And they're the ones initiating it.
I mean, is that what I suppose the pickup term would be, indicators of interest? The whole...
Exactly.
Yeah, then you get people who adhere, very strictly to them. Oh, she's bending her knee that way. Oh, she's not touched her hair in the last 5 minutes. Oh, that means
Right.
she doesn't like me. There's always somebody that has to go to the extreme with it.
Sure.
I mean, one of the things that really surprised me when I got into it was when they would tell you, ignore the girl that you're trying to get, and it drives her crazy. Suddenly she wants to get you.
Yeah.
I mean, some of the stuff that I've read on your site, some of Brent's stuff about, not asking for the phone number, letting them give you their contact details, just talking about the fun life you're having and letting them become interested and want to come with you. Have you got any really bizarre, counterintuitive tips like that? Anything, that when you first heard it, you thought, nah, that's so stupid, that'll never work, and bang, you got success with it? Is there anything you can think of?
Well, I mean, just the whole concept of not pursuing women, I never really imagined that working. But, I'll give a more specific example, just giving out your number. And, I hear this all the time, like, oh yeah, Patrick, I can see how you could give out your number and that'll work for you, but not for me. And I understand because I was, I felt that same way when, I first discovered Brent and everything. But the difference is that it really depends which guy you present yourself as. If women are just programmed to respond to guys who pursue in the way that they do. So everything that guys are running into when they pursue after women and women acting the way they do and playing hard to get, that's a result of, they take the cue from how the guy is. So if the guy, comes up and he's like, hey, I think you're really beautiful. I want to get to know you. Can I call you sometime? Can I take you out for coffee, or can I take you out for dinner and all that stuff? Well, when a guy approaches women like that, they have, they're programmed to respond a certain way, and they just kind